Kane is in the building.
Welcome back here, and that beginning song was Right Above It by Lil Wayne and Drake. I decided to bring back a classic to the show. I always enjoy that one. But we have a lot to talk about. I've been MIA for about a couple of weeks now. I just wanted kind of to take a little break to analyze, work on more of the account. But we are back here, and we're talking about two big topics here that will probably consume most of our time: spring game preview and the the Cowboys in the NFL draft. The spring game is tomorrow, April the 28th, and it is definitely one of the more interesting spring games. I'm going to be paying attention to a little more. Because of the quarterback situation we do have on our hands, Drew Brown will not be at the spring game, like I said in the last episode. So this is really Taylor Cornelius and Keandre Woodtee's time to shine. You know what I mean? There's no overlooming pressure of that one guy will come in. Well, there is, but not in front of your face. People are watching you and only you. And you have to show out. You have to show that you could run this offense and be a leader. Right now in the quarterback situation, I have to see. I want to say Drew, because obviously Drew's the one with the Power 5 quarterback experience. I mean, you cannot take that away. That's something that Taylor Cornelius does not have. He started in that Baylor game. I mean, he got a touchdown or two in the Baylor game and a couple other games here and there. But, I mean, he wasn't jaw-dropping. He wasn't, like, catching your eye. I watched Drew Brown, and he's running. He's making great passes. He's looking like a leader out there. And when he played for Hawaii, watching some of his highlights, and he looks like a guy I want to be on our team. I don't get that with Taylor, and I really haven't seen Woodtee play that much, so I cannot really gauge how he's going to be. I'm thinking, by the way, Gundy's making it sound he's going to be a third stringer, fourth stringer. I know a lot of people have been telling me Jelani Woods, even though he's been moved to Cowboy back. I don't know what those people are thinking. I don't know. But right now I'm Drew Brown, but I think it's open. I have to see how if Taylor comes out here and he's improved, he's leading, he's making good passes, making good decisions, then I will have to give the nod to Taylor. If I see Woodtee do that same thing, I'd give Woodtee the thing here. This is not Taylor's only chance, but I think this is Woodtee's only chance to really prove himself in this spring game, to the coaches, to the fans, because obviously, I mean, if you're a sports fan at all, you know that obviously the decisions are made in the office, but a lot of them are influenced by what fans' opinions, because, I mean, if the fans aren't there, then, I mean, what are you going to have? I mean, that's what sports is technically built on. There wouldn't be any sports without fans. But I think that is my main concern. Another one, how the 4-2-5 defense is going to play out. You know, obviously we'll see it more against more offenses, but I just want to see how we look in it, how the designs, what is Knowles going to implement this year for each game. Will be interesting. I know a lot of Big 12 coaches will be watching that game to see how Oklahoma State will be lined up this year, which will definitely be interesting. I'm looking for guys to stand out. And there won't be any extra flashiness stuff for OSU spring game. You know, I think OU had Toby Keith concert. All these people have concerts. They have all this cool stuff. Gundy said he wants it to be strictly business this year. And I respect that, you know. This is a key offseason. If we don't get this offseason right and we don't get situated into what we need, it's not going to look good. There's in college football, there's key off seasons and non-key off seasons. The key off seasons are ones where you're losing big players and you need to rebuild. And this is that. This is how we set the tone for the rest of the year. And I think it's good that Gundy wants to be all business and wants to take this seriously. Because in the past, spring games mattered, but they didn't matter as much because we weren't implementing anything new. This year, we got a new defensive coordinator. We got a new quarterback coming in. We got new receivers coming in. It's going to be, for the most part, a whole new look, and I think it's going to be interesting. Also, another promotion they are running is actually free admission to the game. So if you find yourself near Stillwater and you want to go see some Oklahoma State football, it's completely free of charge. So that's really good if you want to go out and see Oklahoma State. I won't be out there this weekend, but I will be trying to cover it. Maybe I could. Someone said they're going to live stream it or FaceTime me during the game so I could see what's going on. We'll see how that goes, but I'm hoping that it is a good and hopefully interesting and a good gauge of what I can see. And after that, I'll be starting doing a little more predictions, a little more stuff of that nature. Now to the other topic of the show, we have Cowboys in the NFL draft, Oklahoma State Cowboys, that is. The first round happened last night. Obviously, Baker Mayfield went number 1. And what do you have to say about that pick? I think Cleveland kind of was put in a wall. They couldn't really outgate. Like, I talked to Cleveland fans, and some of them told me to my face that they wanted Mason Rudolph. But I don't think they could do that. I think they were up against the wall, and they pretty much had to pick out of Darnold, Allen, Rosen, and Mayfield. And maybe put Lamar Jackson in there. And so I think that's what happened with Cleveland. I think they made the right decision. I believe Baker is a franchise quarterback. I wouldn't put anything more past him. He's kind of like to me, he's like a Jay Cutler. You know, he's kind of arrogant, but not the good arrogant. Like one of my coaches always said, there's arrogance in football, like healthy amount of arrogance, like Aaron Rodgers. He's arrogant, but he's not in your face arrogant. He's arrogant in his way he acts. He's arrogant in his body language and the way he portrays himself. Baker Mayfield is just an arrogant asshole. I don't mean to use that language, but that's what it is. And if he really wants to be successful at the next level, he's going to have to make a decision. He has 2 ways he could go right now. He could go the way of Johnny Manziel and see like, oh, I'm rich now, I'm going to go party and do drugs and all that stuff. Or he could take you know what, I've made my mistakes in college. People are doubting me. They're not saying, and people are putting a lot of faith in me. You know, I'm getting paid this amount of $1 million a year to turn around a team that has not been that successful in recent years, hasn't won a playoff game since 1994. And so that's what his mentality has to be. He has to be like, am I going to take this and help it become a positive and prove people wrong? Or am I just going to treat this like a big reward that I don't have to work anymore? Because I was listening to an interview with Josh Gordon, I think it was. Someone I might be wrong. He said that to be an NFL quarterback, you have to at least put in 14 hours a day of quarterback. No matter if it's no matter if it's the middle of July or the middle of November and you're grinding. It's a grind, and you have to be able to put in that work. And Baker, I don't know. I know he's a hardworking dude. I mean, he's proved himself to be a walk-on, but we'll see how he takes it. It's either way for him, and I have to see how he takes it. If he uses his arrogance and uses it in the way of his actions, I think that's good. But if he does what he did at the Kansas game and grabbing his crotch and saying stuff like that, I don't think that will translate to success in the NFL. Mason, for me, is an guy who could have the arrogance and swagger and the style of play. I don't really see why they're not rating him as high as I don't see how he's a second-round pick. I know people are saying he's a system quarterback, but he's a guy who's very coachable. If they don't want him to be a system quarterback, in 1 year, I bet he could turn around and become NFL pro-style quarterback. I guarantee it. I think he was at least second best quarterback in the draft. And I'm not joking. People are going to criticize me and be like, "You're biased. You're an Oklahoma State fan." I really do think so. I really do not see what the scouts find wrong with this guy. I mean, I know he's a system quarterback, But he's extremely coachable, and he could fit into any style of offense. I truly believe he's the NFL type body that you want out there. Lamar Jackson is a Denard Robinson clone. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago when they had the Jaguars drafted Denard Robinson, and they actually took him to a running back. The dude, was an average thrower. He could run all over the place. If you're drafting him to be a running back, that would be good. I would approve of that. But how are you going to lose? How is Lamar Jackson, how is his college-style, West Coast-style offense going to translate into big-time NFL ball? I just cannot see it. And I think that, I don't know why people are underestimating him. And Darnold, I don't know if you remember the movie from, I know I don't like to compare fictional stuff to reality, but I think this is relevant. I remember a couple years ago, they had the Draft Day movie with the Cleveland Browns, wherein they had that number one guy named Bo Callahan. I know, not a real player, just a disclaimer. I know people are going to blow up my DMs, be like, Colin, you big idiot, he's not even a real player. It was a movie, I understand that. But he reminds me of him, immature. Not immature in the way of Baker Mayfield, where he's grabbing his crotch on the sidelines and getting tackled by police. But immaturity in the way is confidence. I can see his confidence is way down. I saw him in that Ohio State USC game at the Cotton Bowl. Oh my goodness, he just looked like a dead duck on life support. That's the best way I could put it. He doesn't have much confidence. I could see him being subpar in the NFL. I don't see him standing out per se. I think he's a Mark Sanchez clone with a lot less confidence. That's the best I could put for him. I don't agree. Sam Darnold has athleticism, and I'm not doubting that. I don't think anyone's doubting that Sam Darnold has athleticism. He has all the skills for the quarterback. But that's pretty much it. He really doesn't have much to offer besides that. He had a great... I know people are going to mention his 2016 season. Yeah, that was 2016. This is this year. He had a lot of pressure coming in. If you don't remember, all the West Coaster media outlets were like, he's going to win the Heisman. And he came into... I know I sound cringy, damn it. I'm joking. And then he came into the season, gave a less than ideal start against Western Michigan, and kind of was mediocre all season. They end up scrounging up enough wins to get to a New Year's Six game and winning the Pac-12, the worst conference in the Power 5, I might add, and getting embarrassed by Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. That was his campaign last year. But yet people just want to look over that and leapfrog a year to 2016. But yet Mason has had solid 3 years of 10-win seasons. Lamar didn't do that. Allen didn't do that. Rosen didn't do that. But yet people are going to pull he was good in 2016 card, but when it comes to Mason, they're like, he wins don't matter. Are you kidding me? The hate for Mason and the pure sheer bias of these people is astounding. I've looked on Patriots page and people are ridiculing Bill Belichick because he's considering Mason Rudolph. That's a steal. You got 2 great first-round picks plus Mason Rudolph, and then you have the audacity to go on a fan page and complain about Bill Belichick. This is why I honestly don't have much respect for Patriot fans. As far as James Washington, he's on the board. I've heard the Raiders are considering him. Maybe even the Ravens are considering him too. But yeah, Mason Rudolph just gets completely ridden off by the entire draft. As far as I think he's going to go, right now it's probably the Patriots, either the Patriots or the Giants. Because the Giants, I know they're looking at replacing Eli Manning, but I heard they'll probably go with another guy with another position at that pick. Either way, I'm okay with that, but I just don't like the disrespect for Mason was completely uncalled for this whole draft. From that when that idiotic Bleacher Report guy came out with the article saying he's the second most overrated player in the draft, to now where he gets snubbed from the first round by Lamar Jackson, who's not even a real quarterback. He shouldn't even win that Heisman. That Heisman belonged to Deshaun Watson. If I was Deshaun Watson, I would have sued the Heisman committee. That was one of the worst Heisman selections I have ever seen in my time watching college football. And mark my words for it, Lamar did not deserve that Heisman. And he didn't, besides that one Florida State game in 2016, Lamar hasn't really wowed. I mean, he's wowed me with his running skills, but besides that, I mean, he's a one-man show. I mean, you surround him with a little talent, he could be decent. But I just don't. I just see him as a Denard Robinson. I don't see him fitting into an NFL system. I can see Mason, but yet these idiotic NFL fans think that Lamar Jackson is some sort of GOAT. Are you kidding me? Are you guys blind? Anyway, I'm really triggered this podcast. Oh my goodness. This is probably the most passionate I've been in a podcast for a while. I guess I've been holding those emotions up inside. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. This has been the Loyal and True OSU show. Thank you for listening, and we will try to get another one recapping the spring game and recapping who got drafted to where and my reaction to that. Hopefully it won't be as aggressive as it was this time. But again, thank you guys for listening, and go Pokes.